Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So in this video we are going to go straight back into the economics of Blankos block party. So I've done a few videos about this already, and in this video I'm going to have a look at sort of the broad kind of pricing models, valuations, I suppose, of different serial numbers. So with lots of kind of blockchain NFT projects, we some projects like CryptoPunks, every single NFT is unique, and people sort of work out valuations by looking at the different attributes of the NFTs. In other projects, and I guess mainly with game projects, probably what we'll see is there will be some of the NFTs will be sort of the same roughly. I mean, they may be leveled up at different levels, but kind of in terms of the artwork, they look the same, but they'll have different serial numbers. And certainly with Blankos Block Party, you have this idea that there are these drops of NFT characters called Blankos, and those drops are either limited by time, so they may drop for 24 hours or a week or something, or it may be limited by the supply, as in the number minted. So maybe 1,000 minted, 2,000 minted, something like that. And obviously, when it comes to that sort of a project, there will be a sort of a value based on the character itself, and maybe how many are minted. And then within that there'll be a valuation depending on the serial number. So obviously, number 1 will be the most expensive because that is the first one, and there'll be some sort of variation depending on your number from that point. So that's sort of what we're looking at today. So I'm starting off on the Blankos Block Party marketplace. So the marketplace is where people who own Blankos can buy and sell. I should point out at the moment, obviously not investment advice, first thing, and we're in this slightly weird situation at the moment with Blankos, where anyone with a Blankos account can buy Blankos on the marketplace, but only people in the US, UK, Germany and Canada can sell. So we're in this kind of weird situation where everyone can buy but not everyone can sell. So at the moment, I guess when that restriction is lifted, the number of Blankos being sold will increase, because people who previously had not been able to sell Blankos will now be able to sell Blankos. So obviously, in terms of pricing, that will decrease prices, I suppose, because there'll be more supply put on the market. Countering that, there is some changes around how Blankos can interact with general crypto currencies. So at the moment, most of the activity on Blankos marketplace happens with credit cards, which is sort of fine, I guess, for most people. I mean, I guess some people in the world will have kind of crypto rather than credit cards. And certainly at the top end of the market, if you're sort of coming in and going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on NFTs, most people don't have that amount of credit on their credit card. So credit cards would maybe be a few $1,000s on a credit card. If you wanted to buy something for $10,000, most people wouldn't have that limit on their credit card. Whereas those people actually might own, $10,000 at the moment is like like kind of three or four ETH. So people might have that. So I think we have these two we're in this slightly uncertain place at the moment where there's definitely prices are going to decrease when more supply happens and people can sell. But certainly at the top end of the market, I think prices will go up when these sort of big crypto whales can come in and start buying, particularly like serial number ones. I mean, that's sort of the big selling point for these sort of things. So we have two separate things. I'm not going to give investment advice. I'm not going to predict how these things play out, but clearly those are two structural issues. And there's also another issue, I guess a bit more secondary at some point, I think this year, you'll be able to take your Blankos NFTs and bridge them to Ethereum, which again plays into the kind of crypto whales, people with a lot of crypto value, probably already owning things like kind of a board Ape Yacht Club sort of things, and CryptoPunks and that sort of thing, and they probably have good walleting systems. So once you get that, I think that kind of raises the price at the top end. Anyway, a long preamble as ever. Here we can see on the dashboard, this is the latest trade. So we can see here, these are all the Blankos that are being traded. So we can see Freddie Yeti, there are 2,298 of these, and serial number 1,053 sold for $40. We can sort of look through, and there are the Blankos, and then there's some accessories. I don't look at accessories at the moment, though I probably should start looking at them now. And we can see here, generally these are fairly small, fairly small sums. We're not. Let's see if we can find anything big. Nothing yet. So we're looking for sort of low serial numbers. So here's an interesting one. So Nijiko, number 67, serial number 67. So 2-digit serial number sold for $111. So that's a pretty good deal. We can look at that in more detail. Have we got anything else? Have we got any other low serial numbers? That's goggles. Bullseye. So Bullseye number 7 here. So it's a single-digit serial number. So these are obviously only 10 of those, or 10 of those in a season, in a NFT kind of a situation. Sold for $777 compared to this one here, 2,186 serial number, sold for $40. So you can kind of sort of start to get an idea of the difference in value placed depending on the serial number. So this is what's trading, this is what people have bought, and this is what people are putting on the marketplace. See if we've got any good ones here. So here we have, number 6, Sharky. So there's 750 Sharky. Sharky is the Burberry kind of tie-in that dropped last week, and someone is selling number 6 for $6,000. So that's what they're asking for. People might not buy that. People might sort of go, that's too expensive. We have Traffic here, number 18, two digits, going for $900. Atom, the current robot drop, this is currently live, this one. So number 12 going for $750. So you can kind of start to get the idea. Watermelon here, number 8, going for $1,200. Okay, so it's starting to get interesting. So we can start to see what's going on. And basically what I've done over the last kind of hour or so is I've basically taken all this data for all these Blankos. There's about 50 Blankos now, and I put it into a big spreadsheet because I like spreadsheets. So let's go and have a look at the big spreadsheet. Okay, so here we have the big spreadsheet, and basically, as I say, what I've done here is I've taken all the Blankos. Actually, let's put them in alphabetical order. So this is all the Blankos. This is their names, and I've just quickly looked at some data around that. So this column here is should write this in, shouldn't I? This is number for sale. So this is the number of Blankos for sale. I don't know if I can actually type that in properly. Let's do that again. Let's pretend I'm Prince. Number for sale. So total supply is the number of Blankos that are available. Number for sale is obviously the number that are live on the marketplace. Then I've got a sort of a percentage of the supply that are on sale, and this is obviously the names of the Blankos. Then here is sort of the interesting bit, I suppose. So this is the cheapest 2-digit Blanko in price. This is the cheapest 3-digit, and this is the cheapest 4-digit. So some of them don't have 2-digit ones for sale. So obviously it sort of depends on how many are for sale. I've broken out here the 1-digit, so this is obviously numbers 1 to 9, and then I've done some percentages here. So let's sort of have a sort of mess around and see what's going on. So first thing here is we can see the supply on sale. So this is the total number of Blankos that are out there, how many are on sale, and it's sort of interesting. The colours here are actually significant. So the colours here, this sort of pinkish colour, are these Blankos. Although there's quite a lot of total supply, these Blankos were given away in sort of Twitter competitions and such like before the game was out. So although quite a lot of these were supposedly available, the assumption has always been that a lot of this supply has been lost. So a bit like there's 21 million Bitcoins, but 3 billion of them have been lost over the years by people forgetting their private keys. Sort of similar idea here. So although there's quite a lot of these supposedly around, actually the effective supply is going to be probably half this, probably less than that. And we can kind of see this, that these are of all the Blankos on sale, these ones have the fewest number on sale, because the assumption is people won these and then didn't bother to sort of create Blankos accounts, because they were just sort of given away at a time when no one understood Blankos was an interesting or potentially lucrative game. I should point out that some of these, I've sort of split these out. So some of these Blankos, these ones here are ones that are very small supply. So these ones here are sort of the rarest ones, and they have slightly weird dynamics going on in terms of their pricing, because there's Billy Six Bones, only 10 of those, and 3 are on sale. Billy Bones Flip, only 904. So basically, some of these I've broken out because just the data is a bit sort of weird. So I'm just basically working on, these are sort of the more sort of common Blankos. And we can see here equally, if I flip the switch, so the ones that have the most on sale are also interesting to look at. So Kisumi is only 400 of those, 22 of them on sale. So actually the most of that is on sale in terms of this number here, and that's a fairly new Blanko. So I think they were dropped in June. And what this means is the people who bought these were buying these to sell them on. So you can clearly see a lot of these are on sale. Similarly, actually, this one here, Sharky B. So this is this Burberry Tyne we were looking at. So only 750 of these were dropped, but 10% of those are available for sale. So basically, people are buying these. People are coming in, buying Sharky B. You could buy up to 4 of these, and people are buying them and trying to flip them. They're trying to make money on them. So this is sort of interesting. This one here, Atom, is the current Blanko in the store. So actually quite a lot of these around. This number is kind of going up. It's sort of limited. I think it's on sale for another week or so. So it probably hit 6,000. So people are basically buying these and then trying to stick them on sale to try and make money. And these other ones down here, that sort of the blue, this kind of light blue, are kind of fairly old ones. You can kind of see there's very sort of it's very small numbers of these, like kind of 1% ish are on sale. And actually, for most of these, in total, so this one here is sort of summing up these. So in total, there are 2,159 Blanko NFTs on sale at the moment, at least when I took these numbers. Obviously it changes all the time. And in total there are 125,058 Blankos that supposedly have been minted. It's a bit less than that because of these sort of weird ones down here that maybe were minted and haven't been brought into the game. But that's sort of where we are, and there should be a number in here which should be this number divided by this number. So roughly there's 1.7% of all the Blankos minted are on sale. So we can see actually 5.5 is a lot. So people bought Kasumi and are trying to flip it, and this is now a sort of a new behaviour when Blankos is starting to get popular now. So people when there's a low a special sort of tie-in, and if it's a low supply in particular, but even the high supply, people are basically buying these up and they're trying to flip them and make money. So this is a different behaviour to what we had before. So first thing to point out, speculators are into Blankos now because they can come in, buy up as much as they can, and then try and sell it on. So sort of be aware of that. People are trying to make money on Blankos, which wasn't the case, I think, certainly a few months ago. So let's have a look at some other stuff. So if we look at the remember this is 2 digits. So this is the what I've done here. This is the cheapest Blanko, obviously between numbers 10 to 99. That's a 2-digit serial number. So we can see here Bullseye, Rock Boogie, and Traffic, Nijiko. These are the cheapest ones. So obviously this sort of depends a little bit on supply. So as I say, there is at the moment going to be a whole bunch of supply happening. So people with low serial numbers, there may be some people, if you had a low serial number, if you had a 2-digit Bullseye and you happen to live in France, at the moment you can't sell it. You're waiting for that opportunity to happen. So these prices, sort of could change and go down, I think, over time. But it is interesting that some of these are very high, but these are tend to be sort of low supply options. It does look sort of a little bit random, I suppose. But definitely, if you're sort of entering the Blankos market and are looking for which are the best value Blankos, there are some sort of clear options here. That sort of Bullseye, Rock Boogie, these are all fairly new, fairly recent sort of drops. Traffic isn't, so it's kind of interesting. Traffic's there, but you'd have to go and look and see exactly what 2 digits, because 2 digits could be number 10 or could be number 99. Obviously, there's quite a lot of difference between those two things. But there's sort of a range, and it's sort of worth sort of double checking these sort of Blankos to see what is the price. And actually, we could go here. So I pulled out 1 digit ones, which are sort of the rarest. And again, it's sort of the same thing. So you can, at the moment, the cheapest 1 digit Blanko you can get, serial number, is Atom, which is the current robot one. You can get that for $499. Rock Boogie you can get for $500. Even Watermelon, which seems odd. That seems like a bargain. $970, and Gorilla Samurai, $999. So there are 4 Blankos that you can buy 1 digit serial numbers for under $1,000. Clearly, the range is enormous. So this one here is Najiko, and this is actually number 1. So this is the number 1 serial number for Najiko, and that's priced, I think, rather ridiculously at $1.1 million. But obviously that's a meme sort of price, so we have to be aware of meme pricing, and we try and avoid meme pricing unless people are pricing memely in a bad way. But these 4, are not investment advice, but we sort of always know that the best quality ones you can buy are the ones that we've seen from other projects, are the ones that sort of go up in value the most. So that's just something to be aware of. For people who are sort of coming in and clearly don't want to spend hundreds of dollars, we might want to look at kind of 3 or 4 digits. So actually, what's interesting here is I've broken out on a percentage level the price of the cheapest 2-digit serial number compared to the cheapest 4-digit serial number. This is sort of interesting because it sort of throws up are any of these, which of these NFT Blankos characters are just sort of misaligned. Again, we sort of see the same, to a degree we see sort of the same, some of the same ones. So we see Bullseye, Najiko, Gorilla Samurai. So these are the ones where the 4-digit ones. This is basically the cheapest one. If you come in, what's the cheapest Blanko you can buy in this in these kind of categories? But a 2-digit, I mean, again, that could be anything, let's say from 10 to 99. So you have to look at exactly what you're buying here. But Bullseye and Menace is an interesting one, because Menace is quite a high value Blankos. But the cheapest 2-digit is 300 compared to the cheapest 4-digit for 139. So actually, if you could, if you're going to come in and sort of buy the cheapest Blanko you could, you're not going to buy Menace, but actually to get the kind of a cheap 2-digit on the basis of people seem to value Menace more, $300 isn't actually too bad a deal. And it's even more interesting when you look at three of 4. So you look at the cheapest 3-digit of 4, and we can see for some of these that actually, and this is sort of the key takeaway, I suppose. So for some of these, the cheapest Blanko is actually not the 4-digit Blanko, so a number 1,000, 1,001, whatever. For some of these, the cheapest Blanko is actually a 3-digit one. So for these 3 in particular, if you were kind of an entry-level person coming into Blankos, you could get a 3-digit Gorilla Samurai for $80, or pay $90 for a higher serial number, which is clearly bonkers. So for people who are coming into the space, obviously these are not the cheapest Blankos you can buy, because the cheapest Blankos you can buy are like $40 or whatever. But if you're kind of looking to get the best value for money, and you've got $100 to spend or $150 to spend, clearly these ones at the moment are giving you the best option. Again, this is not investment advice, but this is just sort of kind of using numbers and sort of crunching numbers. And I'm not doing anything clever here. I'm not really thinking, massively about trends. It could be that Blankos in 2 months' time, everyone decides they don't like it, and everyone's trying to sell. So, but this is just kind of the current situation. If you're looking at sort of clearly things that are misaligned, this is sort of the way of building out a data set that would tell you this is misaligned. Yeah, and that's the sort of thing. I guess that that interests me. I probably should do. I mean, the problem with the 1-digit stuff. So why I haven't done a 1 of 4 is the 1-digit stuff is a bit all over the place, because the pricing of number 1 compared to the pricing of number 9 is actually quite big. And actually, when you come to these 1-digit options, people are setting really weird prices that just don't make any sense at all. I mean, we could just do a graph of this, and it would sort of, I guess, to a degree show, because I think graphs are always interesting. So because these are crazy numbers, we'll have to do a logarithmic kind of graph. It sort of shows, and it just sort of shows here that this is the best 1-digit. This is the cheapest 1-digit ones you can get, and for some of these, the sub 1,000 ones aren't showing up. Let's put the minimum value is going to be 500, isn't it? Is it going to show up even? Probably because it's logarithmic. We're going to have to faff around with that. Okay, let's put in 100. That shows us. Yeah, okay. So now you can kind of see this is the cheapest 1-digit one. So we can see here, you know, just this sort of the craziness of having something over $1 million here, and Fathom's not particularly sort of popular. Blankos, you know, over $100,000, and it's just sort of fairly random how these ones are sort of structured. So again, whenever you're looking at data, you have to sort of be quite aware is how well structured is this data. This is just someone, you know, making up a price. So you shouldn't expect it to be well structured data. And the more data you have, the more data points you have, sort of the better structured your data will be. Whereas this is clearly, yeah, be wary of that. So anyway, I don't know how kind of useful this sort of stuff is. I think it's useful. I think it's a useful process to go through and sort of manually create these sort of spreadsheets and kind of think about. You have to be careful. You have to think about lots of different things. You have to think about, you know, total supply and when these Blankos were dropped. And you have to think about. You have to know about the project and know, you know, the reason that these ones. There's very few of these, you know, on sale, because, you know, maybe you don't really know how many of these have been minted, and all that stuff sort of plays in to the general way in which people are valuing things. And I think also we have to kind of think that over time the kind of numbers always win out. So I think there's an idea, and I quite like the idea of there's sort of aesthetic value, and people might like some of these for aesthetic reasons rather than non-aesthetic reasons. But I think probably what I've learned is over time that is a bit overplayed, and like a number 1 serial number doesn't really matter what Blanko it is, and the same for other serial numbers. Yeah, that basically there's sort of always sort of randomness and noise in the system, and over time, as more liquidity, as more trading happens around that noise is sort of reduced as people come in and go, why is this irrationality in the system? Why are human beings pricing this in a weird way? That's not how we would price things. So I guess maybe that's I don't know if that's helpful or not, but it's sort of helpful to me to think about these things. So there we go. As I say, not investment advice. I'm quite into Blankos. I spend a lot of time looking at things and just trying to work out ways of looking at trends and working out things that are sort of obviously misaligned. And clearly this sort of 3-digit to 4-digit thing is you know, if a 3-digit one is cheaper than a 4-digit one, then all things being considered, then that's sort of weird pricing. And these things change all the time, because obviously people come in quickly and buy these things up, because this is not some sort of genius kind of quant thinking to work that out. There's much cleverer things you can sort of do, I suppose, when it comes to these other kind of 1-digit numbers in particular. That's really where the value will lie for the very rich people, of whom I am not one. Anyway, before I ramble too far into rambledom, I think we will shut the video down there. Thanks for watching. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where we spend a time looking at blockchain games and thinking about numbers, and in particular have a bee in my bonnet about Blankos at the moment. So hope you enjoy that sort of stuff. Any comments, stick them in the comments box, and I'll see what I can do. But thanks for watching, and see you again soon.